Hello, Admiral Thrawn here. A couple of months ago, I posted a video detailing the current version of something called the Forge of Realms, which is a dynamic fantasy worlds generator. Now, for those of you who don't know what that means, basically the idea is you hit a button and it will create a randomly generated fantasy world that's incredibly detailed, and you can then use that world to, say, host a Dungeons and Dragons campaign or use it as a setting for, say, a book or a story that you're writing. So this is the new version of that. It's been a couple of months, but I've got a lot of new features in here for you that I think you will enjoy. The boring ones to get out of the way are that you can now save and load. So if I decide I like this map, I go up here, I can save it, and then if you want to share it with somebody, you just send them the save file. They can go to their drop down and load it, and that all works. Now, as for the fun stuff, I've revamped how I handle settlements. So, for example, here, instead of trying to build a settlement across multiple tiles, it's instead authored, and you're able to have your city with a port attached to it, and as well as different types of castles, for example. And these are all different types of settlements that can get placed dynamically. So you can then yourself go and mod it to add new types of settlements, like, say, wizard towers or villages. But the default here for the sort of the European faction are just the sort of normal castles and cities. On top of that, you can have, of course, other fantasy races inhabiting the same world. So you'll have the dwarves up here and their mighty mountain strongholds. And, of course, they have their own types of cities and heraldry, for example. Like you can see here, they have their own types of shields and sigils and colors. And on top of that, another really fun thing is in this new version, you can now combine multiple terrain types into the same world. So, for example, down to the south here, you have the Egyptian type of civilization, which has their own kingdoms, of course, like the holy priesthood of Samos and their own cities and castles. Not to mention, of course, their pyramids. You can't have Egypt without pyramids. So you'll have, of course, the bright necromancer inhabiting the pyramid of unholy knowledge here in the middle of the desert. And then, of course, there's some newer pyramids as well. And they're great port cities forming their empires. One thing that's new as well here is that there's a heraldry for all the different settlements. So, for example, the Cult of the Fallen Necromancer, their sigil is the green snake on the purple field. But, of course, the port of Abkent has its own sigil, which is the blue lion on the red field. And so, like, each city has its own heraldry and sigil on top of its official parent kingdom. Apart from that, those are most of the main new features. This map is the largest that you can currently create. It's 120 by 120. If your computer is not terribly strong, I'd recommend going for a smaller map. Maybe 40 by 40 is probably safe. But either way, you can have a lot of fun with this, so I suggest you go check it out. There's a lot of future content and ideas that I want to put in here, but for the time being, this is going to be the main release. So have a good time with it, and check out the download link on the IndieDB page. Admiral Thrawn. Oh, by the way, this is only for PC if you're wondering. Admiral Thrawn, signing off.